Good evening. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP Bangladesh. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP Bangladesh. Thank you all for joining us with and staying with us till the end. Honorable Knowledge Seeker, today I am your host for the evening. My name is Badhun Das. I am from Bangladesh. Dear Knowledge Seeker, I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. IGP is a social and ISO certified international training institute. In 3 years, we already serve 3 million plus knowledge seekers from 100 plus countries. IGP is internationally recognized and globally accredited. We are connected to more than 250 plus profession and 4,500 plus organization. Institute of Global Professional (IGP) is the training faculty for skill development which was founded in 2020 and is generating competent candidates to meet demand in the global labor market by providing professional qualification. The Institute of Global Professional is an educational institute that provides social work globally recognized and reportable. We serve student and community resource providing holistic social work and education. We believe that it's not effective to increase one skill just acquiring formal education. So we provide effective training and consultation to generate proficient generation all over the world. We distribute our services locally, nationally, and internationally to students, job seeker, job holder, and also for learners, though respective campus location and distance learning platform. We are an occupational and dependent institution. IGP is one of the famous online institutes from all over the world. Our vision is education is not a business product, it's a part of our human rights. Based on our vision, we are trying to reach all corners of the world for free webinars, seminar, courses, award, quiz competition, mentoring, and counseling, etc. On the other side, we also try to serve more than 100 premium services for free, like create own portfolio website, resume builder, cover letter, motivation letter, and wall knowledge platform for gathering general knowledge which can update all day. Kids learning game, website, free courses, converse sites, and many more. We help to empower you to learn to meet their expectation and dreams and become highly skilled people. We implement several training programs, webinar, and offline online courses for your and learners by professional trainers, speakers, and coaches. Our sessions are conducted by globally renowned professionals to develop all kind of youth and to promote the education of their abilities and personalities. To ensure excellence and in-depth instruction, we arrange with qualified trainer, speaker, and instructor. We extended free services to more than 3 million knowledge seekers in the last year. We have association with universities and organizations in 70 different countries. Virtual mall signing with many colleges and organizations have been accomplished. We are working to create a legendary generation of future scholars and citizens who will be accountable. We are constantly prepared to assist all knowledge seekers with valuable service. Spreading knowledge is crucial for Institute of Global Professionals. We believe that knowledge is life and light and vision. So we try to understand the needs of today's generation and will serve them with good research and practice method. We must have a genuine concern for the learner we represent. More diversity, growth, and innovation are required to lead a session with professionalism, passion, and integrity. IGP members are committed to offering effective best quality service and continual improvement so that individuals who seek information can improve their skills and level and value. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Moving to the next, with your continuous support, we already completed 1,169 webinars successfully. Wow! Moving to the next, with your continuous support, we already completed 1,169 webinars successfully. Wow! At present, we are going to start our 1,170 program name, The Importance of Education. today is our celebration program. So we have five speakers with us. So first we are going to introduce with our first speaker. Her name is Ma'am Dr. Randy Dever. Before I hand over the stage to Ma'am, want to share a very little bit about our speaker. She is a coordinator, she is an educator, co-owner of RM Infinity, Chancellor of World University of Leadership and Management. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with her presentation. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with her presentation.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for inviting me
Hello,
to be
ma'am.
on this very important conference today. I'm going to share a little bit more about me so they know how important education is with me, if that's okay with you. I taught 37 years language arts and English in American schools. And then when I retired, I went to Cairo, Egypt to teach 3 months English as a second language. And by the way, it was during the revolution of 2011, 2012. When I came home, I wrote my first book, my memoir of being a teacher living in a revolution. But I also opened 2 schools, which are now closed, sadly, in Egypt. One was for Rise Up, an adult English German language center. And then I also opened a nursery school called 6th October Nursery with another Egyptian friend, where I taught English as a second language to young preschool children and their adults by using Skype from my home in Georgia. As the lady just said, I am now the chancellor of a world university of leadership and management. So all of my life has revolved around education. Today, Marlene, Zadia, and I hope to inspire you and inform you about some of the things going on in education and why education is so important. I'm honored to be the first one to introduce this, and today I will discuss 3 topics which I think work perfectly to create a success in life, both personally and professionally. The first topic will be, of course, the importance of education, our topic for today. But I also want to talk about the risk taking in your life when it is needed. And third, the power of vision, the power of your dreams. First, let us review all the benefits of education. Education is the most important and powerful instrument to shape and desirably mold the human being. It is the root cause for any change, which takes place in the social, cultural, spiritual, political, and economic aspects of human beings. It is needed to think sharply and clearly. Education makes you informed about the world around you, what's going on, and what kind of people are around you. It can help you be more self aware about your strengths and weaknesses, showing you where to shift your focus. Education is the foundation of basic life skills and street smarts. While education might sound like a fancy technical term, it's really everything we learn in life about how to best conduct ourselves from day to day. Values are taught through education. Education exists far beyond the classroom or an exam. It's taught at home through our parents and peers who show us all the things we need to know. And although not necessarily written down somewhere, such a teaching method is a large aspect of what education entails. Education can help you stay focused and on track in the right direction by knowing what the right path is for you. Education can be the most freeing and empowering thing in the entire world. Truly living life to the fullest means being well educated and holding a vast amount of knowledge about the world around us. It also means we continue to learn every day in all kinds of forms, whether it be from the people around us, newspapers, experiences, research, or traditional classes. Education breaks barriers between people and allows people from across the globe to be empowered. It also helps an individual meet basic job qualifications and makes him or her more likely to secure better jobs. Education promotes gender equality, which is desperately needed, as you ladies know, and helps empower girls and women. Education provides stability in life, and it's something that no one can ever take away from that person. By being well educated and having a college degree, if you choose to do that, he or she increases his or her chances for better career opportunities, and this will open new doors for himself or herself. On top of stability, education also provides financial security, as I mentioned earlier, especially in today's society. A good education tends to lead to a higher paying job, as well as provide a person with the skills needed to get there. In order for the entire world to really become equal, it must start with education. If everyone was provided with the same opportunities to education, then there would be less gaps between the social classes. Everyone would be able to have an equal chance at higher paying jobs and more successful lives, not just those that are already well off. The importance of education is evident when it comes to being self dependent. If a person is educated, then it's something that belongs to him or her, which allows him or her to rely on no one else other than himself or herself. It can allow that person to not only be financially independent, but also to make his or her own choices. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. And education is the most powerful weapon you can possibly have. And with it, you can make all your dreams come true. There are, of course, certain exceptions, depending on what you're aiming for, but generally, an education will take you as far as you are willing to go. Being self confident is a major part of being successful in life. And what better way to gain that confidence than with an education? Your level of education is often considered a way to prove your knowledge and can give you the confidence to express your opinion and speak your mind. Education is something that's not only needed on a personal level, but also on a global level, as it is something that keeps our world safe and makes it a more peaceful place. Education tends to teach people the difference between right and wrong and can help people stay out of risky situations. Education can protect you more than you know, not only on a financial level, but it can help prevent you, from being taken advantage of by knowing how to read and write, such as knowing not to sign any bogus documents. And there's so many scams out there. We have to be careful today. We have to know how to be educated and read between the lines so we don't get scammed. An educated society is crucial for economic growth. We need people to continue to learn and research in order to constantly stay innovative. Countries with higher literacy rates also tend to be in better economic situations. With a more educated population, as I've repeated, more employment opportunities are open. In conclusion, for a modern society to prosper, education is of utmost importance. There are so many influences coming from all directions, and education can help us decipher what we should take as true and what we should take with a grain of salt. Education can mold people into functional members of society with the right kinds of values. With education, people can become citizens, knowing right from wrong, allowing for a better society where laws are followed. An educated nation knows about the importance of voting, doing so with the knowledge, not blindly, but also having an understanding of what their party truly stands for. Education can help people get jobs, which is what a nation thrives on. Education can allow you to become the best, fullest version of yourself, learning about what your interests are and your talents are, and becoming self aware and conscious about the world around you. It can help you establish your place in this world and feel complete. I'm going to talk about three quotes that I love dearly. One of them is by Nelson Mandela, and he said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Definitely. My countryman, Benjamin Franklin, said, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." And I also love this one by John Dewey. "Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself." And I'd like to repeat that one. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. Okay, let's continue. Let's assume we all have our good education now. And with that good education, we are now equipped to better handle taking risks to gain more success and ultimate happiness. Taking risk in our lives can be so intimidating and frightening. However, we must take risks to succeed and to be happy. Sometimes we may fail, but if we do not take a chance, then we fail before we even begin. Our whole perception also changes when we look at our challenges and risk as new and exciting adventures and learning, or as valuable experiences. Without these, our lives tend to become stagnant, boring, and unproductive. Risk taking can be defined as the process of opening oneself to change, accepting the need for change, and taking the behavioral steps necessary to accomplish this change. Risk taking provides us with the opportunity to pursue our goals and dreams and discover those new talents and abilities. It will make us feel powerful and proactive, alive and invigorated. But taking a risk involves an honest appraisal of the current situation and a thorough understanding of the risk involved in taking the needed actions. We must weigh the pros and cons and then choose the best action to achieve the change. If the choice is unsuccessful, and it might be, you have to try something else. Taking risk involves courage, determination, and hard work. We may receive criticism, but as risk takers, we must find a way to deal with this. Taking advice from others can be helpful, but our ultimate decisions and choices belong to us. We must be willing to accept the final results and not blame anybody else for them. Many obstacles, roadblocks must be overcome for us to feel comfortable taking risk. First, it is essential to eliminate the fear of rejection or failure, the need for approval, or the need to avoid guilt. We must not let mistakes stop us. These mistakes create new knowledge and thus provide greater strength and more resources than we had in the past. We must not fall prey to self-defeating thinking by focusing on what we cannot do and by comparing ourselves to others. We are individuals. We are like no one else. So never compare yourself to anyone else. Risk-taking is inherent in entrepreneurship. And I assume many of you, if you're in school and in college right now, you desire one day maybe to have your own business. So if you plan to make this as your career, this is important. If you are not prepared to take risks, do not ever become an entrepreneur. You will need to invest some personal capital into a growing business. I invested thousands of dollars and many hours of unpaid working hours to those 2 schools I mentioned earlier. I never saw a personal monetary profit. My rewards were in seeing students, young and older, improve their skills. My dream of opening 2 schools in a country desperately needing this language education had become a reality. I was happy with that. And maybe one day I'll try it again. Depending on your type of business you may pursue or form, one day other problems can occur. Your employers might quit. Your lead generation strategies may not work as planned, and you might make a client angry. Having a backup plan is recommended. Be smart on saving any money you can for those difficult times. As stated earlier, some risk won't pay off. The optimist will see things as half full. 50% chance of success is pretty good odds, and 75% chance of success is a sure thing. However, do not be fooled into thinking all risks are good or always a good idea. Some will fail. If this happens, do not take it personally. Learn from the experience as I have done and move on. Making excuses must be avoided. Since challenges can be difficult, it is too easy to fabricate reasons not to do them. It is essential to determine which reasons are real and figure out ways to solve them, and which ones are simply excuses, and then eliminate these. Remaining positive, open-minded, and determined must occur to stay on the right path to overcome potential procrastination and setbacks and overcoming challenges. Finding ways to overcome our problems is essential. If we are unhappy, we must recognize change can be advantageous and provide us with the kind of lives we wish to live. However, as I said earlier, we must first conduct a thorough self-evaluation, determine what it is that will make us happy, and then decide what change is needed. We must find solutions to the negatives. My self-assessment has always been an ongoing process. Think long-term. I am constantly searching for new challenges. As I just said, I became a chancellor of a new university. The risk we must take, though, can be extremely time-consuming with many hurdles and bumps along the way, but the rewards are endless if we reach our dreams. Therefore, we must be unconditionally prepared emotionally, psychologically, and even physically for what lies ahead of us. Be ready to adapt if needed. A saying goes, why not go for it? We have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Okay, as I said, I'm a writer, and one of the kinds of writing I do is poetry. So I wish to share my personal poem. When I need to remotivate myself, and that happens, I write. And my life philosophy is believe, don't dream big, dream bigger. The sky is the limit, so reach for the stars. This poem is entitled Look Inside Yourself. I hope it inspires you. Look inside yourself to see and find out what you can see. Do you honestly see what you want to be? If not, there is no time to waste. You need to make some changes in haste. Everything in this world is open to you. You just must be willing to take a risk or two. It may not be easy to do this at the start. It will require hard work and passion from your heart. Some people may try to stand in your way. You must be strong and tell them to go away. You must reach down inside to unearth your power. You must strive to climb to the top of your life tower. The climb may be slower than you hope or desire, but when you reach the top, your heart will feel the fire. So always move forward and never look back. Doing this will keep you progressing on the perfect track. All right, now my third category, the third topic is a person needs to set goals. All right, we're educated, we're taking risk, but we're taking risk for what? You have to create a vision. So creating a vision for life might seem like a total waste of time, but believe me, it is not. It is so important and is actually an extremely effective strategy or method for achieving the life you want, your dream life. Use it as a compass to enable you to guide yourself to take the best actions and help you to make the right choices to propel you toward your ultimate life. Think of this as a mapping plan path to acquire your personal and professional goals. Without developing your own visions, you might be foolish enough to allow other people and circumstances to direct the course of your life, which are not meant for you or which you don't really want. Just as taking risks may not always work out the way you desire, your visions may face some difficulties or problems along the way. These visions will not succeed overnight. You will need to cultivate your visions, your goals, your dreams, and closely monitor your perspective. But be assured, your ultimate visions will blossom from your dreams, your aspirations, and your hopes. The results will also be highly dependent upon your values and personal ideals. Continue to delve into your enthusiasm and energy and use your acquired educational knowledge. These will strengthen your commitment and desire to explore your possibilities in life. Once again, just as taking risks can be challenging, exploring these deepest desires and dreams can also be terrifying at times. However, remember, developing a life of fulfillment does not usually happen by chance. You must design it. You must become the architect of your life. I'm going to repeat that. You must become the architect of your life. God gave us the greatest gift of all, our minds and the ability to think, to learn, to create, and to imagine and envision whatever we desire. A developed and strong imagination does not make you a daydreamer and an impractical person. On the contrary, it strengthens your creative abilities and is a great tool for recreating and remodeling your world and life. This is a great power that can change your whole life. It is actually used extensively in magic, creative visualization, and affirmations. Having a vision is the creator of circumstances and events. When you know how to work it, you can make your heart's desires come true. If you do not recognize the importance of the power of the imagination, the vision, and let it run wild in your life at times, your life may not be as happy and successful as you would have wanted it to be. So I want you to ask yourself some thought-provoking questions to help you discover the possibilities of what you truly want out of your life. Consider first your personal and professional lives, both tangible and intangible. Consider your family and friends, your career and success, your health and the quality of your life, your spiritual connection and your desired personal growth, and finally, your ultimate enjoyment in life. You want to have some fun. Your unconscious mind will try so hard to prevent you from creating and achieving your vision. So concentrate. Use your conscious mind and your higher self instead. Concentrate on what you want, not on what you do not want. Use your creativity and dream. Here are the questions I want you to think about. What do you want in your future career? What are your secret passions and dreams? What kind of personal and professional relationships do you want? What personal qualities and skills do you want to develop in the future? What do you want to accomplish the most? Your ultimate dream. And what legacy do you want to leave behind you? When I leave this earth, I pray people will remember me with this legacy. I created this years ago, and I add on to it a little bit, but this is my planned legacy. Dr. Randy D. Ward was an admirable citizen of the world, a loving wife, mother, sister, and friend, an ambassador of goodwill and peace who encouraged and taught brotherly, sisterly love to the people of the world through her teaching and writing, a dedicated lifetime educator who always inspired her students to be the best they could be, an animal lover who worked hard to save them from the evils of mankind, a woman who dreamed bigger and worked harder to achieve her life goals. I have another suggestion for you. I highly suggest making a vision board. I'm currently working on my 2023 board. Each year, my visions change in some ways, so my board must be updated. Try to visualize your life 1 year from now, and then do 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I know this seems difficult, but think about this. Your life may not turn out the way you envisioned it, but that's fine. It might turn out even better than you imagined. Without some kind of vision, your life will not change or move in the direction you desire. For now, it is essential to set your goals and take the first steps toward making your visions into a reality. So I'm going to ask you some more questions. How will you feel about yourself in the future? Think you're older now, guys. What kind of people will be in your life? What does your ideal life look like? Where are you? Where do you live? What is your state of mind? Are you happy and contented or sad and frustrated? I hope not the latter. Does your life make you smile? If it doesn't, you must change your vision. On a personal note, my vision as a young woman was to be an educator. I was blessed, as I said earlier, to have taught English and language arts to American students ages 12 to 18 for 37 years. My vision led me to Cairo to teach young adults English as a second language for 3 months, which resulted in becoming a writer of my Egyptian memoir and other genres and opening those 2 former schools in Cairo I mentioned earlier. In 2020, my visions continued to grow and change. Now I'm a certified coach in 4 categories, including NLP, and I become a book writing consulting coach and master editor, teaching people how to tell their stories because we all have stories. And a few months ago, as I mentioned earlier, I became, which the girl mentioned, I became the owner of a new business called RM Infinite, One Stop Possibilities, with my fiance, which includes now my own publishing company, a dream I'd never really had, but my vision changed when I started my business. And I am the chancellor of a new world university. My new visions never end. I keep reinventing myself as I dream bigger and bigger. For this reason, I will continue to imagine and believe that many of my imaginings, my visions can become realities if I work hard enough to make them come true. I wish the same thing for you. So now it's time, one more time, for you to think and envision. What does your mind imagine? What do you want to do? Where do you want your life to lead you? Your imagination, your vision can help direct you to your goals and dreams. Your vision can become a reality. I want you to revisit your vision often, even if it's only for a few minutes. Keep your vision alive in your mind. I'm going to share another poem that I wrote in one of my many moments of daydreaming. Maybe your dream or dreams can be found in my imagining. It's called Imagining. Imagination is a wonderful thing. It allows you to become anything. You can pretend you are a great and creative inventor or a famous sculptor with your work in a popular art center. You can imagine walking down a runway as a model, beautiful and tall, or being the world's best athlete in the sport of professional football. Maybe you want to be an actor or an actress in a sold out Broadway play, or dance and sing with a famous band in a video one day. Your dream could be to become a gifted doctor who has the talent to heal, or a brilliant businesswoman or man who successfully makes the world's best deal. Perhaps you hope to be a hero or heroine one day and save a life. Or maybe you would be just content just to be a husband, father, best mother, and wife. Whatever you imagine in your mind and in your heart, it could one day become a reality if you make a plan and start. So do not just imagine, but believe your imaginings can come true. Work really hard and trust in the amazing hidden power in you. Thus, as I've said, it is essential to be as educated as you possibly can be in order to be able to take those risks that are needed and use your visions to fulfill your lifetime dreams. If you utilize all of these, believe me, you can have the life you want, the life about which you dream. And remember, my life philosophy, which has directed me all my life and has worked for me, is to believe in yourself. Don't dream big, dream bigger. The sky is the limit, so reach for the stars. Thank you for allowing me to share today. God bless all of you, and good luck with your education, your dreams, and taking risks.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your presentation.
My pleasure.
Dear participant, now it's time to invite our second speaker. Our speaker name Iwanon. Before I hand over the stage to ma'am, want to share a little bit about our speaker ma'am. She is an education and counseling consultant, international motivational speaker. Hello ma'am, good evening.
Good morning. Good morning, and thank you so much for allowing me to be on this panel. As I was sitting here this morning, dawn was coming up back over behind us, and my neighbor's sheep and goats were coming out, and I thought, well, it's a new day, it's a new morning, and it's a new you. So I appreciate this so much. Following Randy is going to
Thank
be
you.
hard, but I will tell you just briefly about myself. I started teaching when I was 9 years old. I started teaching swimming to young children, and then I progressed all the way through and taught adults. I have been in education now for 35 years. I've been retired for 20, and I'm still teaching. I'd like to talk a little bit about things not from the motivational standpoint that Randy did, but about how we can make education better and more available to us. Now, I'm here in the United States, in the state of Georgia, and we have our schools run on a semester system. There's 180 days that the students are in class. Because of COVID and other things, they've started incorporating more and more digital learning so that if a school has to be down because of bad weather or because of the sickness, the students can still get online and continue their education. It's been a big plus. So we have tried to fill in those gaps where we can. But I think it's important for us to think, what can we do that makes the opportunity of education not only available, but workable? And it boils down to, we need to have commitment from the parents, the children, as well as the staff. You can have the highest education from the greatest university in the world, but if you're standing in front of that classroom and you're talking to people who could care less about what you're saying, who would rather be on their telephones or talking to their friend instead of learning about English or math or history, they're going to suffer when they reach adulthood. I think we need to go back to the days of how rare and how wonderful it is to get an education. Everyone in the United States has the opportunity to begin school and go all the way through until they've completed the 12th grade year, and then they have the opportunity for colleges, universities, and trade colleges or technical schools. We need to take advantage of that, but we need that commitment. One of the things that could help us is that teachers need better pay. That would be a big plus. You would encourage people to come in and stay, not go into industrial work where the pay is better. The other thing that we need to think about is, when I first started teaching, the classroom size limit was 25. And we would try to level classes out between 20 and 23 students. Now the average class size is 30 or more students. I think the smaller classes work better. Teachers get to know their individual students. You have 150 students in the day, and that's only if you teach 5 classes. You don't get to know all of those kids as well as if you had a smaller classroom. And I think that lacks in a lot of kids' lives. They need the encouragement. They need to know that there are adults outside of their home that cares about them, that will listen to them, that will support them, help them make those other decisions. Randy was talking about setting goals and dreaming high. A lot of kids have wonderful goals. They may not be realistic because not everybody's going to be a professional ball player or a professional musician or an actor, but they need to know that there are people there that will listen to them and say, if you want to work toward that goal, here are some ways to get there. So I think that's something that's important. The smaller classes, the greater involvement with adults outside of your home. Parents in the home now are working. Both of them are working. They don't have the opportunity maybe to spend the time with their children that we would really like to have. In my years of working with children and families, in crisis as well as not in crisis. I told them that they need to have at least one evening a week where they all ate together. I found out that most of them don't. And I think it's important that you spend some time together as a family each night. The encouragement, the involvement, knowing that somebody in that house is listening to what you've got to say, what you need. I think that would help. One of the things that I found in my work after I retired from working as a regular high school counselor, I was invited to come back and work at a school that had a lot of high risk students, students who were having difficulty reaching the goal of graduation. And I found when I started working with those students that their reading levels were weak, which their math levels were not great, but they could learn to use a calculator and do things, but they needed reading skills. And I think all schools and all countries need to focus on a reading program that gets kids up to grade level or above. Our son was deprived of oxygen during birth, and we spent a lot of time with him. And he now reads high school and above, which is a small miracle. But it took the dedication of my husband and myself and his teachers to get him those levels of achievement. We need to have ways for teachers to be innovative in the classroom. Not everybody teaches a little differently. University professors do not teach you how to teach. They teach you what the material is to teach, but not how to communicate well with your students. If you think of your students as your commodity, and you think of yourself as a manufacturer, you are supposed to be in there helping that commodity be the best that it can be. And I think that we need to have people who are involved in the upper levels of education back in the classroom where they see what's going on and they can adjust their teaching styles at university level to better accommodate and support the teachers who are in training. All schools need to teach real world finance. Students need to understand how their paycheck goes into the world. How do you save money? What are interest rates? They need to know what a checking account, getting a loan, buying a house, buying a car, just getting a credit card. They need to know how this works. How does that interest build up? And if you don't pay off your charge card at the end of the month, what happens? How do you keep from going into debt? And if you do end up falling in debt, how do you find a way out? My first book was Life is Hard, Soften It with Laughter. We need to realize that life truly is hard. And anything you can do to soften it, to make it work for you, and you not fight your way through life, you need to do it. And education is the way to get there. I don't think that everybody needs a formal education. I don't think everybody needs to go through a college or university. But I do think that they need to have those reading, writing, and arithmetic skills to get out into the real world and be successful. There's, after World War II, at least in the United States, the dream was for everyone to have a college education. And the force was driving everyone in that direction. Well, I think we've come back around where we see now that the education we need is to not just have book learning, but to have actual learning. Go to a technical college where you can achieve what you want to achieve. Get out into the world and start your job. You may not want 4 years of a formal education. You may need 2 years of how do I manage my own business? How do I become the best welder in the world? How do I do the things that I really want to do? We need to accept, and we would like to see achievement on every level for every person. Whatever your interests, whatever your capabilities are, we want you to have success. Um, I think it would be great if we had the school administrators back in the classroom teaching a class, not the upper level classes, but the regular, either the lower level or the medium level classes, so that they see what's going on and they better prepare to support their staff and their parents, for those children to be successful. Um, I appreciate the time. I appreciate this opportunity. I think what you're offering through the Institute of Global Professionals is wonderful. And I wish you great success with your projects. And thank you again for this opportunity. I'm done.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your Now it's time to invite our third speaker, ma'am. Our third speaker name is Katia Bibuluri. She is from Georgia. Before I hand over this dish to ma'am, I want to share a little bit about our speaker, ma'am. She is an English teacher, author, international speaker. Ma'am, now the stage is yours. You can start your presentation.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you properly and I can see you properly.
Okay, I will start. So my name is Khatia and I am from Georgia, and I'm really happy to be given this excellent opportunity. And today I will share my personal opinion with you. I work as an English teacher in one of the private schools, and I have just started working in public school. I've been teaching English for 7 years, and I can say that I have gained vast experience in this field. In Georgia, some people think that it is not possible to get a decent education in public schools. That's why most parents give preference to private ones. My main goal is to prove that, if people want to be educated, it does not matter where they have to study. The most important fact is to have aspiration. You won't achieve your goals until you strive towards them. Unless you strive towards them. I mean that it does not matter if you are in a private or a public school. You can get a proper education even in public schools. If students put so much energy into learning, they will produce satisfying results and they will be more productive. Today, I'm going to talk about the importance of learning English, which is a hotly debated topic. Some people believe that if you want to earn a lot of money or to be more successful, you need to pay undivided attention to foreign languages like Chinese, Japanese, or Turkish, but I'm reluctant to accept this viewpoint for some valid reasons. It's a well-known fact that English is an international language since it is spoken and understood by the vast majority of the population by nearly every region of the world. In the 21st century, technology progresses so rapidly that it is utterly impossible to inhabit without English. This language undoubtedly offers a plethora of advantages, and I will talk about it. Nowadays, to acquire a decent or well-paid job, people are required to demonstrate mastery of the English language. Knowing English maximizes your chances of being employed in a multinational company, not only in your home country, but also abroad. A good illustration of this is Georgia. In our country, the situation is increasingly getting worse and worse. Numerous people are migrating to different countries to secure gainful employment. English gives people the opportunity to build up a business and to be able to compete with other companies. Research has concluded that cross-border business communication is often conducted in English, and many international companies expect employees to be fluent in English. Um, uh, uh, as you know, Georgia is a touristic country. English is compulsory for even drivers and cleaners to establish communication with foreigners. Therefore, if people want to survive and to support their families, they are asked to have basic knowledge in English. Tourists have a keen interest in our country, and the number of them is increasing annually. If we want to represent our country and the world to find out more about it, we need to be good at English. As for me, I take part in Erasmus Plus exchange programs, and this language helps me a lot to win friends and to find out more about different cultures. Um, uh, Studies have revealed that scientific papers, magazines, newspapers, and articles are published mostly in English. There is a famine of good writing in Georgian books, and besides the young generation, like the young are reluctant to devote their valuable time to reading meaningless books. So the internet is the best way to gather or acquire more useful, modern, and supplementary information. Furthermore, moreover, after COVID-19, the whole world has moved online and using the internet. Loads of organizations are holding meetings in English. And as for the teachers, we know that if you want to be professional and to be more experienced, in this case, you have to put considerable effort into your occupation, and you have to attend training that is offered by prominent universities from overseas. Teachers have to communicate with other teachers from other countries to share knowledge with each other. We know that a lot of students actively get involved in news exchanges and pursue research degrees in various countries. If a person does not speak English, he or she is denied the opportunity to access a high quality education. Now I'm going to talk about one of the most important problems in Georgia. Today, in my estimate, most school children follow a sedentary lifestyle. They are not actively involved in extracurricular activities. Their parents have a hectic schedule, and they work all the hours God sends to provide their kids with a better future. That's why parents cannot dedicate time to their children, which has a negative impact on family bonding. Some children suffer from social anxiety, are not sociable. They don't feel comfortable when they are surrounded by their classmates, and they are shy and ashamed of talking about their difficulties, hardships. Hence, they sink into depression. Their attitudes change for the worse. They are unwilling to share their problems with their peers or classmates or even parents, but they feel more comfortable with pen pals because they find a lot of things in common with them. Georgian children divulge secrets with foreign friends. It is easier for them to relieve stress. With the aid of this language, pupils are able to overcome any hardships they come across or they encounter. This language helps adults or teenagers to link people who have common interests and gives them the opportunity to look for friends, build communities, send messages, and share news. I can say for sure that English enables the students to glean knowledge about traditions and customs. They find out more about other cultures, which allows them to gain skills and to treat other people with respect. This language is crucial for us to teach pupils tolerance and respect for the rights of others. If a student has to prepare, for example, if a student to prepare a project about cultures at school, they need useful information to make it more absorbing and to be able to attract people's attention. In this case, English will allow them to collect more valuable data and sufficient facts. Speaking English gives people access to the world's top films, books, and music that are brought out and produced in English. If you speak English, you won't have to rely on others' translations because sometimes they are misinterpreted. For example, in Georgia, we know, like in Georgia, people are observant and they notice that films are poorly translated. I mean that when I watch films in Georgian, it is completely different from the original version. When you know English, you can derive pleasure while reading books in the original language and can enjoy every line of it. As an English teacher, I carry out a critical role in my students' life. I work in one of the non-governmental organizations as a coordinator. I take my students abroad. Together, we take part in news exchanges and training. I assist them to receive proper education about different kinds of topics. These programs help them to improve their language skills, to overcome their fear of public speaking, to experience culture shock, and to win friends. After participating in these programs, they are more tolerant, respectful, flexible, and eager to learn more, and gradually they become fluent in English. And of course, they are absorbed in the language and culture. I am an advisor of Glory Future Foundation, and I often attend summits online with my students that are held by foreign people. We discuss engrossing topics, and students express their opinions and ask any questions they are interested in. They feel more motivated, and they are eager to get involved in such meetings. Now, I want to talk about COVID-19. When COVID-19 spread all over the world, nobody knew what to do. Everyone was under stress. Their lives became mundane. Students did not enjoy the chance of having in-person interaction with their teachers or classmates. They were extremely tired of sitting in front of the screen. I was eager to make the learning process more enjoyable and to make my students interested in my subject because I was afraid that they would lose motivation and interest at it. I had to devise new teaching strategies, and I came up with an idea. I created a YouTube channel for my students. They pretend to be journalists, choose subjects they have an avid interest in, record videos, and upload them on this channel. With it, they hone the skills learned in our classes. I often advise them to read the greatest books of all time. They are used to stimulate discussions and writing. We compose music and watch films in English. After finishing reading or watching, we have debates, which helps them to improve their communication skills. I can say that I put boundless energy into my profession, devise innovative strategies for teaching, and employ role plays that can help me to stimulate creativity and enjoyment in learning. I search for interesting and fun activities that will enable me to generate my students' interest. I place greater emphasis on their academic achievements and persuade them to enter competitions that are organized by foreign companies. As an educator, I have already taken several steps to build a positive environment in my classroom and my school. I get to know each of my students' unique personalities, including their likes, dislikes, and strengths. I create a lesson plan together with my pupils. Their viewpoints are respected. Some of my students lack self-confidence. They are afraid of committing blunders, committing mistakes while speaking. And as a teacher, I assist them to boost their motivation and enhance self-esteem. I provide them with encouragement and furnish an explanation that making mistakes is a part of the learning process. Thank you for your attention. I'm done. I'm done.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your presentation. Once again, thank you so much, dear ma'am, for your presentation. Now, ma'am, it's time for our question and answer session, which is the one more valuable part of our regular webinar. Honorable ma'am, please stay with us. After a short video, we will start our question and answer session. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. And please mention the name of our speaker from whom you want to know your answer. Thank you. After question answer, we have webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. And please mention the name of our speaker from whom you want to know your answer. After question answer, we have webinar certification and online quiz competition. Welcome back, ma'am. Welcome back to our knowledge seeker. Ma'am, our first question is from Jack. This question is for our last speaker, Ma'am Katia. Why teachers need to know the strength and weakness of his oblique her students? Please, Ma'am Katia, I request you to answer the question of our participant.
Okay, first of all, as a teacher, I think that you should know the weakness and strengths of your students in order to be able to provide proper education with them, because they are different. We know that all students are different from each other, and we should know the weakness and strengths of them in order to be able, to provide them with decent education, because Yeah, like some students are very good, for example, at English. Some are good at like science, and if your student is interested in science, you can, for example, if your student is interested in science, in this case, you can like bring topics from science. In order to make your class and the learning process more interesting and not to be boring for them.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Katia, for your answer. Participant, we are requested to ask your question in the comment box. Please address our speaker name. Our speaker ma'am are here to answer of your questions. We are waiting for your questions. Dear participant, please ask your question in the comment box. Dear participant, please ask your question in the comment box. Our speaker ma'ams are here to answer your question. Okay. Our second question is from General. How would teachers differentiate the approach used in public and private school? Uh, so, ma'am, our participant didn't mention any speaker name here. So, ma'am, please answer the question of our participant. I requested all of you.
Is this question for me, like?
No, ma'am. Actually, the participant didn't mention anyone's name, so you can answer them.
Okay, I will say I work in like as I have already told you, I work in one of the private schools, and I had just started working in public school. But I can say that there is a great difference between public schools and private schools. I mean, in Georgia, because in private schools, we know that private schools are expensive, and parents pay a lot in order to provide their children with proper education. That's why they have additional materials. They have for example, in English, they have English 5 times a week, but in public schools, they have once in a week. That's exactly, we can say that there is a great difference between public and private schools. They are provided with everything they want.
May I also make a comment? In the United States, public schools and private schools, there is a huge difference. Just like she said, the parents can put money in. The classes are very small. They have usually the best equipment that's available at the time. There's a lot of opportunity for the private school children to go out and have other experiences. Whereas the public schools, it's mandated through age 16 that you have to be in a school, public or private. But the private schools offer much more one-on-one attention, much smaller classrooms, the opportunities to experience travel and different kinds of speakers and things than you can get in public schools. The public schools offer a broad base, whereas private schools can offer a more individual based.
Yes, and also public schools in the United States are dictated by government policies and rules, which also many of the teachers don't always agree with because they put restrictions on the classrooms because they don't really know how to teach what they think they do. So private schools, I think they can dictate their curriculum a little more freely than they can in public schools.
And I think that private schools have a little bit more freedom to be innovative
Yes.
in their approaches to education, whereas the public
Yes.
schools offer the teachers a little bit more freedom in some of the activities that they can
Right.
use.
Yes, I add like in private schools, they also have extracurricular activities like swimming, chess, or a dance class, and their knowledge is checked like every day because they pay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for all of your answer. Now, ma'am, this is a question from our first speaker, that means, ma'am, Dr. Randy. How education help to improve the society?
Well, I think that's obvious. If you're educated, you're going to be more law abiding. Um, you're going to be able to have a better job. It's not going to be so much poverty because you'll be able to support your family, buy food, have shelter, and all these things that are needed. Because the poor people are the ones that are suffering. And usually the poor people are poor because they're not getting the proper education needed to advance themselves in their lives. So I think it's obvious that this improves society. And also you're able to think and know what's right from wrong and not be taken in by uh, bad governments, scams on social media and on the internet now, because there's so many of that. If you're educated, a lot of people get taken advantage of because they're not educated. So society in a whole needs education. We need education, but not just in the countries that we need it in the developing countries. And this is where the problem is. Not everywhere in the world do people get quality educations. I have Facebook friends in 5,000. I have 5,000 Facebook friends in 63 countries, and I know this. Every day I talk to these young people, and they're struggling to get an education. It's not that they're not smart; they just don't have the right educational opportunities. So they come to me to help them get scholarships for other countries for university study. That's the reason when I taught in Egypt, I noticed so much that even these bright adults and children in Egypt, um, they would always tell me I was the best teacher they ever had. And I only had them for 3 months. The reason is because I cared about them and I actually spent the time to find out what they needed, what they wanted, and what they wanted to learn. And I taught them those things in creative ways. In a lot of countries, you read the book, and they give you a test. That's how the teachers teach. And it really upsets me because they're not interacting with their students. So if we had better education worldwide, we'd eliminate a lot of the poverty. We wouldn't have all these problems. And I think even if we were more educated, maybe we could eliminate some of this war and violence that's going on too. You think about the ghetto areas, a lot of those people are not educated. They don't have anything to inspire them to get a job and do better. So they steal and rob and kill people for money. So education provides all the best things we can have in our society. We must work on education worldwide.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, our next question is from the Gigator. My question is, if any student didn't understand any language too fast, what he should do? As per he didn't mention any speaker name, so I request ma'am to answer our participant question.
I think it's important for people to have the confidence to speak up and ask for help when they need it. If it's whether it's a language or it's learning a math problem, unless you let someone know you need help, a lot of times you'll be passed over. And not everyone learns at the same rate of speed.
Exactly.
And that's another thing, that when you have the smaller classes, like the young woman from Georgia was talking about, if you have classes where you can get to know your individual students, you will know that this one is struggling more than that one. You'll know that this child needs more individual help. He needs to be teamed up with another student, or he needs help after school if that's something that can be made available. But there are always opportunities for people to get more help, but they need to let someone know they're in need.
Also, I not only taught English as a second language in Cairo, but after I came back to the United States, I would do private tutoring to a lot of students that wanted to improve their English. And they would always say, "This is so hard for me." And I kept saying, practice makes perfect. It's not going to happen overnight. They thought in a year they would be totally proficient. It's really amazing if that happens. That means you have a language aptitude, but not everybody has a language aptitude. But that doesn't mean you can't learn the language. Okay, you can. But I suggest getting on YouTube, listening to English speakers, reading the newspapers or reading books in English. You may not understand everything, but if there's a word you don't understand, look it up in a dictionary. It takes time. Find native speakers to talk to if you're talking about English. If you want to learn English, find native speakers. There's all kinds of social media groups, especially on Facebook, that you can join and help you learn your English. But like I said, it's not a matter of fast or slow. It's a matter of one step at a time, learning the language. Start with vocabulary, then start listening to it, try to speak it, find people that speak English well, and copy what you hear. It takes time, but don't give up because you can learn the language. I know a little bit of Arabic. I'm not great at it because all of my friends speak English, so they made me lazy. But at the same time, I was learning to speak some Arabic, and I know I could do it if I had the time and the desire. So if you have the time and the desire, just be patient. You can learn this language. So don't give up.
It takes practice. And
Yes.
and this is kind of off the track, but I'll give you some tips that I used when I was working with students. Circles are the first shape that the human child identifies. And if you can take your favorite color and cut circles out of that favorite color, write your vocabulary words, your spelling words on one side, the definition on the other. Use those as flip cards, because what happens is the human brain, the reptilian stage, identifies first with circles, then with color. So if you can link the information to a circle and a color, it will help you get it into long-term memory faster. There's a book that's coming out called Tips, Tricks, and Techniques, and it's on different kinds of learning styles. And you might find that helpful. It won't be out until March, but it'll be available on Amazon. And it's just using those kinds of tips. And again, if you have television with closed caption, put it on in that language. Go out and practice trying to speak to other people. Help someone else who's trying to learn that language to improve. You will too. When you can listen and then respond, the more you do that, the stronger you'll be and the faster it will come to you. And what
Also,
you're
one of the things.
doing is
sorry.
a very difficult thing.
Yeah. And don't worry about the accent. I get always asked, how do I get the American accent? If you come to the United States, there are hundreds of American accents. There's not one. So my suggestion is just learn to speak fluently so that people, if you can understand them and they can understand you, then you are proficient in English or whatever language it is. I'm speaking about English because that's my area of expertise. So don't try to worry about accent. Just learn to speak so that people can understand you. And again, as Marlene and I've said, it takes time. It's not overnight. It might take you years, but when you are proficient, you will be proficient and you'll never lose it. So just practice, practice, practice every single day. Do something in English, reading, writing, listening, whatever you need to do. It will come.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Next question is from Jason. And for our second speaker, why we need to love education? It's from Ma'am Marlene.
Okay. Well, we need to love our life. And I think education, either in the formal sense of a school or just going out into the workforce and learning from people around you, you learn from your family. We need to love to learn. Education is a broad word. You are educated from the day you pop out. You start to learn sounds, you start to learn shapes, colors, language, and you need to learn to improve yourself. And you have to be happy with doing that. And I think that anything you can do to better yourself, whether it's a formal education or just getting out and learning to work with flowers, if that's what your passion is.
Yes.
But you just need to go out and enjoy your life. And you know, life is hard. Find those parts that make you happy. And I think education, improving yourself through learning, will do that for you.
Yes. I personally try to learn one new thing every day. I'm an eternal student, and I've researched something. If I learn one new fact each day, I feel like I've accomplished something amazing. So try that too. Just try to pick up one new skill, one new event, one new fact. You'll feel good about yourself. Be an eternal student, whatever it is that you're interested in.
We're fortunate now that we can communicate like this with so many different languages,
Yes.
and so much opportunity and information is available at your fingertips. I hope in your other countries that you have public libraries and things like that where anyone of any age and any ability can go in and research what they want to learn. I know it's not available everywhere, but wherever it is, we should take advantage of it.
Right.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, our next question is from Brigadier. My question from ma'am Katia is define how to improve English listening and speaking skills.
Okay, I think that it's an important question because if you want to improve English, in this case, I think that a lot of students read books, like translate, right? But the most important fact is to establish communication with foreign people, and you have to take part in exchange programs. You have to attend training. You have to like attend summits in order to be able to improve your like speaking skills. Otherwise, you won't be able to speak. And the most important fact is to not to be afraid of making mistakes. When you are afraid of making mistakes, in this case, it's a great obstacle. I think like that. As for the listening skills, I think that you should watch films. You should listen to music because I think that music is the best way to improve your listening skills.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, our next question is from CUNY. Good evening, everyone. To our resource speaker, why is quality education important for development?
The more you know, the more informed you are, the more capable you are of making good, sound decisions.
Right. Yes.
And a quality education, everything you do in life is a learning experience. A quality education, I think you're talking about being a more formal education, will give you insights into other aspects of the world,
Right.
how other people think, react. Um, and I just think the more informed you are, the stronger person you are in the world.
Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, our next question is from Jondal. Any from the speaker can answer. Today's era, the education sector mostly focused on student centered. So, how does teacher, faculty, his personal and professional aspect in relation to situated learning in the classroom to induct his or herself as a teacher and learner?
Well, again, this is the same horse that I've been beating for years. The smaller the classes, the more
Right.
involved a teacher can be with the individual student, and the student can be involved with the teacher. I think
Right.
that we have gotten to the point where, in so many educational systems, they want every student and every teacher to be on the same page and the
Yes.
same book on the same day. And that takes away the creativity of the teachers. Um,
Yes.
they have to be so regimented that the chance of taking a day away from that regime and bringing in, an opportunity to experience the program from a different point of view. I can remember when my son was in school and they were learning about the period of time in the 17 and 1800s where people were mining and looking for gold and coal and different kinds of things. They brought in sluicing machine, trays and let the kids pan for gold and for gemstones. This is something that was not part of the quote traditional curriculum. My son still talks about that time. It was one of the best things he ever learned. And from that, he learned so much more about the period of time. I was an art teacher. I had a little more freedom with what I was doing than a lot of people because I could take my kids and work with them more one on one, and we could explore color or creation or line, whatever we were doing. But it's it's not that way now, 50 years
That's
later.
right.
I started teaching 51 years ago, and things have changed
Yep.
considerably.
Yes. And not for the better. Yes. That's what I was saying earlier. They've taken away a lot of the creativity of teachers now in the government, public schools. Everybody's supposed to do the same thing at the same time. And it really disturbs me. I'm talking about the United States. I'm not sure about other countries, but this is one thing that Marlene and I are very upset about. We were allowed to be, as an English teacher, I was allowed to be creative when we were doing a literature lesson or when I was teaching them public speaking. But now they want everybody to be the same. It's like they don't trust the teacher now to do her job or his job. They want everybody to do the same thing, like robots, and it really upsets me. So this is one thing that I'm hoping that eventually our educational system in the United States will realize this has to change. It has to be teacher interacting with the students and giving the students what they need, what the teacher thinks the student needs, not what the administration or the government thinks we should be teaching them. And that's the direction we need to go back to is creativity, using our skills as teachers to know what our students need.
I think it's important to realize that the home is where learning is encouraged
Right.
and where children learn a lot about self-respect and
Yes.
about the importance of learning. So the
Yes.
home needs to be more involved in the education
Yes.
and support system.
And the parents need to be more involved in what's going on in the classroom too. And if they don't like it, they need to go to the administration, say, let the teachers teach, you know, let the teachers do what they need to do best. You hired them to do this, let the teachers teach. And I think they will see that it's becoming so regimented. And I don't like that at all.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, our next question is from Sunday, not for any speaker in particular. Hi, estimated speaker. Could you briefly talk about education being a public good and a responsibility for the public? Thank you.
Would you rather be able to go out and farm and create your own food and not be able to go to the store and buy it because you didn't know how to calculate money? Would you want to be dependent on others making the decisions for you to live? Or would you rather be able to decide for yourself how you're going to do things? I just think that the public is responsible for helping people achieve the best person each can be. In the United States, education is mandatory to age 16. Um, Most students who complete high school are about 18 years old, 17 to 18 years old. And then they have the opportunity to go on if they choose and they can afford to do so. I just think that when this country was founded, teachers came over from England. They were mostly church-related based education because those were the people who had the education. Stained glass windows were not created to be pretty. They were created to tell the stories of the Christian Bible because people could not read. I think that as time has passed and people have had the opportunities to learn, all of our countries have become much stronger, much better. I think that if we could get education in the smaller villages of the world, we would find people would start being able to come up with ways to get out of poverty and to stop fighting among themselves. But that's just my personal opinion.
Another responsibility of the public with education is to make each individual self-sufficient. I mean, we don't want them to have to be getting government subsidy. If we educate them properly, they're going to be able to take care of themselves, provide their own food, their own shelter, provide, everything for their families, and they're not going to rely on other people to live. And that's important. So that's our responsibility, make everybody independent and able to survive on their own.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Now, our next question is from Flummy Goody. Evening, everyone. Any of your resource speaker can answer. Why is investment in education important?
I think we've kind of answered this several times now. Uh, the world, I mean, the world economy depends on education. I mean, if you don't have educated leaders, which in some cases we don't, that's another story. I'm sorry, bad joke. But anyway, if we didn't have educated leaders, the world would be falling apart. So education is important in business. You have to have inventors that know what to do, people that are marketing. Every industry needs educated people, whether it's building a car, building the computer, laptop, or the phone that we use every day. Education is investment in our whole society and everything that revolves around our society. So we have to know how to do things, or we'll go back to the caveman days when they knew how to do nothing. So we have to invest in education, whether it's trade school or college or whatever. We have to educate our people in the skills that are needed to continue our world in a prosperous way.
In agrarian societies, the Indians have what they call the Three Sisters, the Native American Indians. They planted a piece of corn, a bean, and a fish in each hole. The fish to fertilize, the corn to grow tall, and the bean to grow up the corn. This comes from experience, but experience had to be shared, had to be educated to the next level so it could
Right.
continue. We're all based on experiences and what we can do to improve those experiences. Mr. Salvejo, what is your educational level?
Yes.
Can I add, like, I can say that education empowers individuals with knowledge, which gives them
Right.
power over themselves and other people too. And it's very important
Exactly.
to invest in education.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly, Zadia. Exactly.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Once again, thank you so much, Honorable Ma'am, for your time in IGP. We have learned a lot from you with new topics. It will add some value to our day-to-day activity along with our academic and professional growth. Honorable Ma'am, hope to see you again with a new topic and a new date. Thank you, ma'am. Take care. Honorable Ma'am, before we move to the next webinar certification process, if you want to leave this studio, you can, ma'am. IGP Knowledge Seeker is time for the webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we will start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. IGP Knowledge Seeker is time for the webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we will start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. Dear participants, today our program name is The Importance of Education and the code is IGP 2023 and the code is IGP 2023. Without code, no one is eligible for certificate. With code, you can claim your certificate anytime. How to claim an e-certificate? Go to www.eduigp.com, click sign in, log in if you already have an account or create a new account if you are new. Once login, click free webinar, select the webinar title and click continue course, get enrolled if you haven't enrolled yet. Type the code in your certificate code box, gets your certificate. It is auto downloaded in PDF file already. Just check it in your file manager or download folder. Don't forget to leave a review on our FB page, website, and in Google. Dear IGP Knowledge Seeker, it's time for the most engaging part of this webinar, which is an online quiz competition, which is our regular webinar activity. Now, time for the online quiz competition. To join on the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Now, time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Go to www.slido.com and find today's quiz or scan this QR code for direct joining. Quiz code is even. After a short video, we will start our quiz session. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is even. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is even. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is even. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is even. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is even. With 42 people, we are going to start our quiz session. Our first question is, what is not an importance of technology in physical education? Option 1, the use of technology though a student lifetime is only going to increase. Option 2, technology can hinder teacher efficiency in a PS setting. Option 2, technology can hinder teacher efficiency in a PS setting is the right answer and 25% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Jewel is holding the first position after completing our first question. Our second question is, English education give more importance to theory more than practice. Option 1 true, option 2 false. True, false, right answer, and 51% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Joel is holding the first position after completing our second question. Our third question is, which of the following expenses Malala's idea about the importance of education? Option 1, I did already hear the rooster crow at dawn but had fallen back asleep. Option 2, how could I complete my study and become a doctor? My greatest hope. Option 2, how would I complete my study and become a doctor? My greatest hope is right answer, and 46% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Flami is on the first position after completing our third question. Our fourth question is, believe in the importance of teaching the classic supports which cycle philosophy of education. Option 1, essential. Option 2, potential. Option Perennialium is the right answer, and 32% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Marvelous is holding the first position after completing our fourth question. Our fifth question is, why is education important? Option 1, it helps us become better citizen. Option 2, it helps us become Romanistism. Option 1, it helps us become better citizen is the right answer, and 100% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Marvelous is holding the first position after completing our fifth question. Our sixth question is, what is the importance of doing homework? Option 1, it may be a grade. Option 2, as is what we learn during class. Option 2, as is what we learn during class is the right answer, and 100% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Marvelous is holding the first position after completing our sixth question. Our seventh question is, quality education has a dash impact on children. Option 1, profound. Option 2, misformed. Option 1, profound is the right answer, and 98% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Marvelous is holding the first position after completing our seventh question. Our eighth question is, what is the importance of FFA officers? Option 1, to not help and just sit around. Option 2, encourage other members of the chapter to be involved. Option 2, encourage other members to the chapter to be involved is the right answer, and 98% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Marvelous is holding the first position after completing our eighth question. Our second last question, what is the importance of FFA meetings? Option 1, to discuss future events, current issue, and plan ahead. Option 2, to mess around and make a mess. Option 1, to discuss future event, current issues, plan ahead is the right answer, and 98% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Marvelous is holding the first position. Our last and final question of this session, you can success in life without any formal education. Option 1, true. Option 2, false. Option 2, false is right answer, and 40% people are right here. Congratulations to our winner online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations. Slide will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that we will issue your online quiz competition certificate on our official Facebook page and group, Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our Online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. Slide will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on our official Facebook page and group, Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our webinar online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. Slide will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on our official Facebook page and group, Institute of Global Professional. At the end of our session, we can say, properly feed your school, never stop learning, because life never stop teaching us. Be happy and stay safe. See you again and again. We want your participation in every program. If you want to live a life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Albert Einstein. Before I say or hit the end button again, wants to thanks all IGP Knowledge Seeker for your active participation as well. As always, see you again in the next session. Thank you.